Green salutations. Look, hopefully you can hear me. We do have a special guest today. He's already in the green room. So to be on time is to be early, as some of y'all will say, and to yeah, or and to be on time is to be late. So we'll bring him on in a little bit, but hopefully y'all are enjoying Brian and the crew over there. I was watching myself. Y'all know I don't just support my own stuff. I watch everybody else. So, I was actively watching AD Drew and their conversation over there. Good conversation. But today, we're gonna try to get a little good trouble. um, not too much, but just enough. But we're gonna get y'all excited. Hopefully, it's kind of a brave new world on the hill. Gonna talk about somebody that's doing some great things, and we're also gonna try to delve into that homecoming game a little bit. It's just fun time. Interesting time. So you already know what's up. What it's about to be. Fangs up.
Yeah, baby, you know what time it is. Now let's get it started.
Are you kidding me? Unreal!
While our HBCUs are mostly known for academic rigor, community, they also know how to turn up.
Does he have it? Yes, he does!
And that might be the knockout punch.
Right. What's up, little baby? Good to see you there. So it's a brave new world on the hill. A little bit of a pun, partially because our homecoming opponent are the Braves. But the other reason is because this will be our first homecoming under our new administration. So we're gonna see how y'all folks act. Y'all gonna act right or y'all gonna cut up? Like I'm, asking for a friend. I'm act right, promise. But in the background, we do have somebody, and he's early. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring him in. He look like he's ready. So Mr. Rick Kinsey, if you haven't already seen, we got a little thing. That's not a little thing, big thing actually, that is going on and that is taking place. And make sure I get it right. Bring like Dion say, have my music queued up. Well, we're gonna have his video queued up. Yeah, I know I'm a good old fashioned pirate, so I'm good for stealing your stuff. So, but we'll cue his video up real fast. Then we'll bring him in to let y'all know what's going on. Y'all know I got to be careful with that. But if you don't know, FAMU Golf Team is on the verge of raising $50,000. They have already done some great things. People like Mr. Rick Kinsey have helped. Things got a driver range, like Top Golf, and they are trying to build a golf canopy. So make it more like Top Golf. Okay, okay. So with no further ado, look again. When high quality folks come around, I believe my the late high value individuals, right? Well, this is somebody who's bringing a lot of value to Florida A&M University. Look, hopefully he's ready. Mr. Kinsey, you ready? There we go.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Yes, sir.
Okay, how you doing, man?
I'm well. I'm well. I'm well. And look, y'all missed it. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. Mr. Kinsey and I, we had a whole great conversation before the show even started. So
Yeah, we won't even get into that. This is gonna be the clean version.
no, sir.
How you doing, man?
I'm well. I'm well. I'm well. See if I put my other headphones ready. I'll work with these. We're good. But I'm great, man. Look, trying to stay out of the rain, trying to stay warm. So you know how that goes here in the state of Florida. Like
Right?
it rains every day that ends with Y.
Right. Well, look, man, it's good to be on your podcast, man. Thank you for inviting me. It's always a good thing when Rattlers are doing some great things, and you and the ONG Strike Zone, you guys doing great, and it allows Rattlers like myself to stay in tune on what's really going on up on the hill. So I thank you for this great opportunity.
Always, man. And look, he's a great brother. Look, he's from the other side of 1911, which y'all know we love all, man, you know. But there you go, throw the hooks up, you know. But and I love the Tampa hat, I ain't gonna lie. I know the Rays are doing another FAMU night, so I'm looking forward to seeing that myself. That's my favorite baseball team. So
yeah, we got a Hall of Famer, softball Hall of Famer who's been inducted this year, Miss Fullwood, softball player. So the Rays have done the right thing, which is they're going to actually recognize her for that. So I'm so proud of her. I know her dad, Derek. He's from Tampa. Again, they've done a great job raising her, and she's just a marvelous. She was a marvelous softball player and just a great individual. So we're so happy that she got inducted into the Hall of Fame, and that the Rays are going to highlight her at their baseball game. So we would definitely be there for that.
I'm excited. I hope to get there. Again, that's my favorite baseball team. But we're not here to talk about the baseball team. We're here to talk about the FAMU golf team and some of the things you're trying to do with FAMU golf as far as just continuing to support, continue to show love. So can you talk about that right fast?
Yeah, man. Look, we have been supporting Coach Rice and the golf team for quite some time. I mean, even from when he was there as the coach, and a lot of people don't know this, but they had these little nice golf carts that actually follow the players. And I never knew about these things could actually follow the players, right? So we purchased that some time ago. That was probably around the 2020 time frame, although it was a little bit before COVID. So we've done that, and then as you know, most recently, just last year, we purchased the indoor putting green for the golf team. And now we got something that's which was a major undertaking, which is a golf canopy for the golf team. And if people don't know, Coach Rice and the team, they have been doing some outstanding things, man. They won the MEAC, they won the national championship last year, and then just this year they won the SWAC. But they also this year won 4 other tournaments that people are not aware of. So Mike and his staff have done a great job of recruiting these kids, and they have been just on the golf course lighting it up. And as you all know, if you don't know, they played in the NCAA tournament. They couldn't defend the championship that they won last year because, as you know, when you win the SWAC, the agreement is you will play into the NCAA championship. They had the fortunate to going over at Florida State. They did okay. We didn't win that, of course, but they were playing the Power 5 schools and did absolutely well. And even this year, Mike got Coach of the Year. And a couple of his players, first team SWAC and second team SWAC. And for those who know about the APR scores at Florida University, they had the highest APR scores at 1,000. So as you can clearly see, Coach has, and now our golf team, it's an Olympic sport. Man, they have been doing some amazing things year after year. And when he and I talked in February, he and I, Dr. Maurice Pickett, who's a part of Rattlers and Arms Incorporated, we were having this discussion about what are your needs. And he said, I need a golf simulator, but more importantly, I need a canopy. So it allows my team to practice during the day as well as at night, and they're covered. And I said, so is that one of your greatest needs? He said, yes, it is. And so I said, we'll take that on. We'll look at how we can support you in that. And it's like, what's the cost? He said, well, it's about $50,000. I said, Mike, that's a big ask, but we'll see what we can do, right? I said, do you have a good shot? And we started this conversation in February, Keith. And I said, do you have a good shot at winning the SWAC? He said, yes, we do. I said, well, let's win the SWAC, and then we'll go ahead on and put this out into the Rattler Nation and our family and friends to see if we could in fact, support your kids, your team at doing that. And so, hey, here we are. As I say, $5,000 away from 50K, right? And we're striving, man. And I want to thank the over 83 donors who have supported us thus far. So we're at about 45, a little over 45. So that's why we say we 5K away. If you're asking me, do I believe we will exceed that, Keith? The answer is I think yes. And we only running this until tomorrow because we kind of ended it on the FAMU's Foundation's fiscal year. For those who don't know, it ends June 30th. So it's no coincidence why we started this journey to end it tomorrow. And hopefully those that are listening to your podcast tonight, hey, you have an opportunity to be a part of something big. Because one of the things, Keith, I think I can get into this. We've had some troubled waters over the past 2 months, right? With the selection of a president. And most recently, and I'm gonna say this, something that took place with the AD. Well, when that happened, Keith, it made things a little harder on this fundraising initiative. That was going to be what I thought was an easy goal to get, raise $50,000 within 30 days, right? And when we got hit with this presidential selection, and you know how rattlers are, when rattlers are up in arms, so are their pockets.
You're right.
So I said, hey guys, fundraising just got difficult. And I hope that we keep our eyes on the prize, which is our kids deserve the best, right? Regardless of an individual. And as I got a little, and I'm always optimistic, but when this presidential selection came about, and this foolishness with that, Mike and Dr. Pick and I, we had a conversation. I said, well, guys, fundraising just got hard.
Coach don't do everybody. Like Coach Rice is cool, but
yeah.
Coach Rice is selective about who he talked to.
Oh, he is. And I said, Coach, the waters have gotten a little tough. And I mean, literally, man, when we go out and ask people for support, it's easy to sell a program because they've been winning championships, right? So it's an easy sell. And literally, I thought that, hey, we can get 50 guys who play golf to donate $1,000. Well, when the presidential selection came about, that overshadowed everything that we were trying to do. Okay, and our kids deserve the best, right? If they go out and do what we ask them to do, which is win championships and win in the classroom, and that's what they're doing, our kids are not second-class citizens. They deserve the top and the best of everything because they do what we ask them to do, right? It's a part of the FAMU's brand. We brag differently, and we win differently. And this golf team has been lighting it up, okay? MEAC champions, SWAC champions, national champions. So what else can you ask of them to do? So what better way to reward them, okay, not just with rings, but a canopy, right? That will show and that everybody can clearly see, to include the space shuttle. When they look down and see that rattler and say, hey, man, that's FAMU, obviously, because that's their golf team, because that's their logo. Our kids deserve that. And so, what I thought was easy, which is to raise $50,000, in 30 days, the president's election, man, as you can clearly see, we limping into day 30, right, which is tomorrow, to raise 50K for something that these kids have done, and we should have easily said, hey, we can support that because they are deserving of it, right? We limping into it. So that's why I say, man, thank you for giving me this opportunity to get the word out, to tell rattlers, look, you got an opportunity to give $25. Okay, makes a difference toward the $50,000 goal. And I do think, Keith, tonight, by being on your podcast and your show, I believe this is what's going to take us over the top. And so I thank you so very much for giving me this opportunity, man, to brag differently tonight.
I love it. And one of the things I appreciate about, especially when we say we brag different, I think part of the other part is we work different. It's one of those things where I've always been told when you really love it, you'll do it for free, right? And I think that's one of the things where, we notice where the things you've done, there's no statue or hall of fame that you're asking for or looking for. You just do it and you
Yeah,
support students. Can you talk about just kind of doing that and really building a relationship with like Coach Rice? He's a Rattler
right,
from
right.
Central Florida.
Well, Keith, it's easy for me, and I say this because I come from literally a legacy of Kansas who have attended Florida University, right? We have I call it a platoon of bricks right in front of Coleman Library, which I'm proud to say that my father, my uncles, my 4 kids, and I even have a granddaughter uh, who's graduated from there. I have cousins who's graduated from there. And so I'm tied to FAMU in such a different way, right? When people speak of legacy, I mean, really, Bernard and Shirley Kinsey, they're my cousins, and so you already know what comes with that, right? And what I have always tried to do is be a beacon of light and hope. That I hope that what my kids see, what I'm doing, that they will in turn do the same thing. So it was an easy transition to support Florida University. It's because it's about the kids, right, who go there. And so when we've been supporting FAMU since 2008, and when I speak of golf, what most people don't understand, Dr. Maurice Pickett, we were all in ROTC together. We were all in military together. We retired together because when he and I were in the military, his daughter used to babysit my kids. And so you have a way in the military coming full circle, right? So when I was stationed in Tampa at U.S. Special Operations Command, when my time was up, I called him to replace me. And
Wow.
so I left and came back to Tampa and retired. And when I went and worked up at the Pentagon, and I left the Pentagon, he called me and said, Rick, there's a position opening back up here at SOCOM. So there we are in the same office. We doing the swivel chair action. And it was the FAMU corner, right? And so nobody would come back there because they knew, it was orange and green corner back there. And so Dr. Pickett is the golfer of what we call the Rattlers in Arms, right?
Mhm.
It's really 5 of us. It's 3 that really are heavily engaged. But he is the golf person. So that relationship started with him and Coach Rice. And we tight to this day. People think I play golf. I don't. I have my clubs. I have my bag. I'm not the golfer in this group. I'm the guy who drives the golf cart, and they allow me to play with them. But it was because of his relationship with Coach, right? And supporting these kids. And when they go to the various tournaments and places that they play, it was Dr. Pickett who was purchasing, buying food, purchasing golf bags for the golf team. And so we have a relationship and everybody know their part. I'm the fundraiser of the group. Pickett is the golfer. Now, Coach Rice will tell you this, and we become great friends with Coach Rice because we talk weekly, you know. And so just the other night, it was Saturday night, 10:30. I got a text from him. That's the level of relationship that we have, right? And we always talking about what the kids need, what can we do to better, your program, because we understand it's an Olympic sport. Everybody's always aware of football and basketball, right? They're not aware of what our Olympic sports, what they may call the non-revenue sports, are doing. And so, that relationship with Coach, because as you know, Coach was with us and he left and went to Prairie View and then when he came back. Well, I'm like, Coach, when you're good, team's gonna come after you, right? So we have to do everything we can to try to keep our coaches. Because again, when you winning, everybody's gonna come after you, right? And so we do what we can, Keith, to try to keep him in place. As small as it seems, these things do matter, right? Because it shows not only him love, it shows his golf team love that our alumni stands behind us. And they're showing us that, look, whatever we can do, I think we are the only HBCU, and I'm not sure, I'm not 100% sure, that has an indoor putting green. Okay. And I think we may be the one and only that has a driving range on its campus. So imagine that, right? And most people don't even know where the driving range is. It's literally right behind the Took Center. So as you go down towards the police station and the baseball field, you look to the right. Well, that intramural area is off to the left. And you see the big, everybody think that's a batting cage. Well, no, that's the smaller version of a Top Golf. Okay. And I tell you, Keith, so that relationship has been with Coach for a mighty long time, as you can see. I mean, man, as long as he's been there, not as a player, but as a coach, we've been with him. And so I credit Dr. Pickett with that piece of it and buying the golf balls, and purchasing the bags and things of that nature and the food. So whenever there's a requirement, he'll say, hey, coach is in need of this. So it's like, okay, we'll figure that out, and we were doing it on our own. And then we saw an opportunity to say, no, you know what? I think the more people we make a part of it and they buy into what we're doing and show our students love, because one of the lessons that I saw, and I think most of us learned from the championship football team, we didn't celebrate them in the way they should. We made it about Coach Willie Simmons. So we won the national championship. The kids got on the bus, came back home in the rain, had a lukewarm welcoming back. And we were trying to decide over the Martin Luther King weekend how we should celebrate them. We were mad because we didn't want to do a joint with Florida State. So I was just like, look, it's about the kids. It's not about a person. And so we have to be careful with that, right? So let's celebrate our student athletes for what they have truly accomplished. And I think so with Dr. Pickett's vision and building that relationship with Coach has really allowed us to be successful. So I'm so proud that even too, I got to throw this shout out to him that Dr. Pickett has been inducted into the Hall of Fame for his years of contribution since 2008. But it's because of that relationship that he has established with Coach, and it allowed me to get to know Mike. And it's so funny because, man, I'm telling you, we talk every week, okay? And so you got a special relationship. They can call you at 10:30 or 10:45 at night, and we all on the same mission about, hey, where we staying? What are we looking at? How we come? You think we're going to reach that goal? So everybody is so excited because we know that our kids are going to be rewarded in such a way. And in spite of everything we have gone through, I'm going to brag differently. While we mad about the president, while we mad about the AD, I'm happy to tell you this has been the brightest spotlight in the past 2 to 3 months. Is this fundraiser that we have done for our golf team. So I'm going to be happy, and I'm going to go out on the limb with this, Keith, and say tonight I think we're going to exceed our $50,000 goal. And I think we're going to blow it out the water.
I love it.
So,
I do have this question though. If you exceed that goal, what happens to the extra funds? Is that something that just becomes like an additional donation to the golf team? Because as you stated, this is a team that 2 out of 3 years, they come home with championships. Like they academic, athletic. This is a golf program that, let's be honest, I mean, we didn't finish at the best in the NCAAs, but you probably 3 players away from really making some noise in that tournament in Tallahassee.
And let me say this to you. We just recruited a player, I think, out of Stetson, right? One of the top kids we were trying to recruit. And saying that, I think we're going to win the championship next year because of the recruitment class. But to your point, when we exceed the goal, there's always still requirements. And one thing everybody is kind of hard on right now, these funds, oh, by the way, are restricted funds, right? So when we told you we was raising money for the canopies, you will see canopies being purchased. I can promise you that. There'll be a ribbon cutting ceremony. We're going to let you know what your dollar's paid for. Now, he still has other requirements. And one of them is a golf simulator. And that's about $25,000. In addition to that, he has things that he has to purchase for the kids for the upcoming year. So you can be rest assured that money will go to great use, okay? Because they have to buy uniforms, they have to buy these other things that are required. Because remember, this is a non-revenue sport. They don't get the love that the football team gets. And we will, one thing we're about is full transparency. So when we go out on these fundraisers, I let you know what it is you're purchasing, and you can call and feel free. And like you said, Rick, if you blow it out the water, what's the plan with the additional funding, right? Well, I'm gonna allow the university to do what it's supposed to do and say, hey, he's able to now purchase golf bags. He's able to buy, uniforms for the team. Okay. And he's able to feed the team when they're on the road. So these are the things that you don't understand and see. But I can promise you, it ain't going to the president's salary. Okay. And it won't be wasted funding. All right. Because we make sure, because again, this is my money too. Okay. I'm a good steward of funds. I want to know where my money is going.
Yes,
So
sir.
I make contributions to these things and we blow it out the water, man. I have to say, okay, what are we going to do with that extra funds now? Because I want to make sure it ain't going to somebody's salary. Okay. And that is going to good use. So if you buying, golf equipment, and if you buying, things that are going to better that team, that's good usage of our funds. Okay. And I think Mike does a very good job of being transparent. He talks to any and everybody. He's a straight shooter, as well as myself. I'm gonna let you know. I call it like it is. If something is a foul, I'm gonna call it out. That hey, I don't necessarily agree with that because again, there's a lot at stake here, right? We're not only talking about the university's brand. We all have a brand. You have a brand with this show tonight. I have a brand with the Rattlers and Arms. Dr. Pickett has a brand with the Rattlers and Arms. So we have to be fully transparent with our supporters and donors. So I would tell you that it will go to good use. And as you know, they won the SWAC championship. The university has to come up. The athletic department have to come up with how they're gonna purchase rings. I'm like, folks, that stuff's not free, and they're deserving of that. So as part of the SWAC, I mean, you're responsible for purchasing the jewelry for those athletes. And man, look, they shouldn't have to worry about that. And that's, to me, that's an easy ask of alum. And I know what people often say, well, athletics ought to do this and do that. I want athletics to go after the $1 million donors, right? Well, I want us to do the small, church givings, and we ain't passing the hat, and let us take care of the small things. And I want the AD to go after the millions of dollars, okay? And let us go after the $50,000 to $100,000, if you will. The six figures, you go after the bigger figures than that, right?
Yeah.
And so let's just give some love, man, because look, Howard University has Steph Curry. He does a celebrity golf event at Pebble Creek in California, and they raised about $3 to $6 million for a Howard golf team. And they ain't lighting it up like we are. Okay? So I'm like, folks, our team deserves the same level of effort and love and support as Howard University does. Because again, it speaks for itself. We this is not an easy ask. I mean, we win a championship. What more can our golf team do to gain and to gather and garner our support? What else do you want them to do, right? They don't want the MEAC, they want the SWAC, they won the national championship, and we just a few things away from winning, even at the NCAA Power 5 level. So just think about that, right? So that's why I say, hey man, we've been doing this for a long time. And if we created, just imagine if other small organizations, even different classes, class of 2005, 2010, whatever, supported an Olympic sport, golf, track. Well, they don't have to support golf. We got that one. But golf, I mean, not golf, again, we got that one. But volleyball, bowling, track and field, tennis, softball, right? Those non-revenue sports. Those kids are doing some special things, man. The softball team was just a game away from winning the SWAC. Imagine that. The track and field team, they won, right? And so the tennis won. So, and the volleyball team won. So what else? What else do they need to show Rattler Nation that they are in need of their support, right? We always talk about the football team. the Marching 100, and our basketball team. And the basketball team did well. So,
Consider yes.
But I'm just saying now, I'm sorry that he's gone. We got now the Heisman Trophy. Charlie Ward gonna do some great, wonderful things for us. But I'm like, folks, those Olympic sports, don't sleep on them because they are quietly winning championships. It's just that they don't get the publicity that football and basketball gets. So pay attention now. Rattlers have done well in the SWAC this year.
Considering,
So, yeah,
like we don't play like what 3 or 4 of the sports, and we're in competition for the Commissioner's Cup.
Right. So
That's
we
crazy.
get golf team, soccer team. I think now we into lacrosse in some cases. I hope we
Wrestling.
break into rugby.
Oh man, that'd be fun.
Right.
I do have a question though, and you brought an idea up, and part of this, and if you don't mind, I'm gonna try to keep you for a few minutes.
Okay.
I want your insight on homecoming a little bit. I'm gonna bring you in the conversation.
Right.
But do you foresee, especially when you mentioned that Howard having a golf tournament, that kind of got the wheels spinning? A lot of y'all Rattlers got golf clubs. I got golf clubs. I just don't play. I ain't gonna lie. I go to the golf tournament, I ride in the cart, and I take pictures. But do you foresee that becoming something where that becomes part of homecoming, like the FAMU Golf Classic, and that's homecoming golf classic, and where the proceeds go to the golf team, whether it's at Jay Gaither or Kalon Country Club or
and it's funny that you say that because right now we do play on Fridays, right? And we're in talks now to say that's something we should create. I noticed that in Orlando got a golf tournament coming up for the Florida Classic, and we should because there are a lot of golfers, right? And I can't get on Pat Gray and say, hey man, you need to, those contributions need to go toward the golf team because I know it's towards the scholarships there for the Orlando chapter. But we are in talks to do that because that's something we should do every year anyway. Because there are a lot of Rattlers who play golf. There are a lot of Rattlers who come into town on Friday, and there are a group of Rattlers who play on Fridays. That's why we get there Thursday night. They allow me to just drive a golf cart, and I appreciate that. So I play 9 rounds, and that's it for Rick Kinsey for the day, right? But to your point, and we want that to be a big deal. And so that's what we've been talking about, that all proceeds will in fact go to so we're in talks, even with the boosters to say, hey, we got to figure out a way to have that because there are a lot of golfers, right? And that is a great opportunity to raise some funds. So to your point, those discussions are being held, the dialogue is there, and we just got to bring it to as they say, to fruition. So we are thinking about it. So I'm glad you brought that up. And I do like, if those who don't know, check out the Orlando chapter at the Florida Classic because they will be sponsoring a major golf tournament. As a matter of fact, y'all taking sponsors now, sponsorships and whatnot. I believe I saw that. So I think that is going to be a very successful event because of the number of people that come to town. Now we just got to tell your president that, hey man, throw some of that money over there at the golf team.
I will mention that to my president. And one of the things, and again, I'm a thinker, so I love that you mentioned, and one thing I love about what you guys are doing is there's a deliverable. And a lot of times we talk about when it comes to fundraising, we always complain and just say, just give. And we know our people. Like, let's call a spade a spade. Any people, but especially kin folks.
Right.
If you give us a deliverable, we're more apt to give. And that's any type of people. We're always self-critical. But do you foresee, and I'm probably jumping on the Brian and Kelvin train, where those golf polos can be something where, they get sold online for $75, $80, higher than what they probably cost the team.
Right.
Or maybe even double what they cost the team.
Right.
And for instance, I buy this polo from the bookstore or wherever, and those proceeds end up going to essentially purchase a polo for an athlete. Because you think about your golf team's 10, 15 players, maybe.
Right. A little less now. We bound to now to 9 and 12, no more than 12 now. But you're right. Go ahead.
Yeah. So if 10, maybe 20 FAMU people spend $80, $90 on polos, all of a sudden, if that's double the price of the polos, all of a sudden you've facilitated or furnished the entire team with one, maybe two polos, just from using the alumni and using the fact that, because I ain't gonna lie, that golf logo is fire. Like that one in the FAMU, like the old baseball hats, I can't find them anywhere, and those are some of the best.
I wish I had the belt buckle, and it's in my other vehicle right now to show you what that we got as a gift. When you see something like that, right? I mean, man, it's amazing, right? So to your point, the PR game, how can we sell products like that? Because if you think about it, in the bookstore, you won't see many golf items, gloves, or any of that, right? And I know sometimes because of the name, image, and likeness, and the logos and the copyrights, and I get it. You know, they sell a lot of things on Fanatics and various other places, but that's one of the other ideas that we spoke of about how can we sell championship golf apparel, okay? Because there's a market out there for that, right? Now, Keith, you know, you and I, we ain't the smartest people in the world. We can come up with all these great ideas, but we don't work for the university, you know, and we can try to sell products, you know, to where they benefit from it. Sometimes I wish they would move as fast as you and I think, right? Because one thing about Relics, we have some great ideas. And I love great ideas because if you implement your great idea, and it goes back and support what we're doing, because we like you said, we like to have something concrete, right? Not just give, and we don't see. Now, we don't give all this money. I like to tell classes, at homecoming, you come up with $238,000. Do you ever ask how many scholarships did that give out? You gave a lot of money. You leave there, you're feeling good because your class of 2030 gave $20,000. I mean, $200,000. But do you ever say, well, what did it do? What kids did it give scholarships to? Can we see a list of those kids, right? So therein lies why when we do something, I want you to see it, okay? Because then you believe that I gave to this and I see what they actually did. It didn't go in this hole of money and we never saw it, right? And so to your point, we always say things like that, right? Like, okay, can you get some more of those belt buckles? Because they were fire, man. I wish I had it online. I mean, I have it on in some of my stuff, but it's a nice golf belt buckle, man. I love to wear it because when people say, where did you get that from? How can we get one of those, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, little trinkets, man, that are special, right? And so to your point, these are the kind of conversation and dialogue that we're having. Okay, where is the apparel of golf equipment, right? Just things that we can purchase. So we often talk to Quentin Player, and he'll try to purchase bags. Dr. Pickett does that. He has a relationship with Ping, and he'll ask him, can he buy so many bags? So you know, and again, it's word of mouth, right? We don't necessarily have a e-marketing e-store where you can purchase that. But to your point, these are the kinds of conversations, because I'm telling you, man, when you see those belt buckles, I'm gonna have to send you a picture of it, dude. That thing is on fire. The whole belt is on fire, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, now, you know, given, I'm telling you, who people will pay $50 to $60 for that belt buckle.
Oh yeah. If it looked nice, because my mom has a Rattler room to this day.
Bruh, it is all that though. That belt buckle is all that. So remind me to send you a picture of that later, and you can post that wherever you want to. But hey, Keith, it's on fire.
Yeah, see, now you're getting excited. Now, while I got you now, what y'all may or may not know, and I'm a whole. Oh, what you say?
I'm gonna have to create some thoughts on that one. I like that one though. I'm glad you brought that up.
Look, I'm a whole, since I got a guest. we're gonna let him slide the football season. Now, Rick is over there. He's not on Earl's Hill, but he's not far from it. And so you are a part of the RV Club. Homecoming. All right, so homecoming week. We know that's a crazy week for the alumni. FAMU's got Alcorn State. I think first time we played them since the 80s,
right?
Something like that. How you feel about that game?
Well, I don't take anything for granted. Okay, because as you know, we thought we could just walk on Mississippi Valley. I think personally, when you come into somebody's homecoming, you come in to spoil the game. All right. So I don't see that as a walk in the park game. Like I said, I learned some lessons from last year. Mississippi Valley was supposed to be a cakewalk, and it wasn't. So what I say to you is this, right? We should be able to win that game. I think we can win the SWAC. I think we'll be on our way to Atlanta, not just when we play Mississippi Valley this year, but I think we'll be going back for the national championship or the cricket bowl championship. So I would say to you that we should win that game. All right. I think we should probably go 10-1. That's what I think.
Okay.
But again, my thoughts don't mean anything because the way the game is played.
On the field.
And so, I'm optimistic, that we should win it all, right? And we thought that last year. And it's like, Jesus Christ. And I haven't paid attention to our recruiting class, because again, X and O's on paper is one thing. And as they say, until you get hit in the mouth, then it's another thing, right?
Everybody got a plan till then, right?
But again, just like every homecoming, I think it would be heavily supported. I mean, I know where we are right now. People are feeling some kind of way. Again, with the president and whatnot. And a lot of Rattlers come back to town. That's about a $10 million influx into Tallahassee during that weekend. I have my feelings about that. But I say, in support of our student athletes, I just don't support them, Keith, at homecoming. I purchase my season tickets and I go up there every home game. So, I know a lot of people talk about boycotting and those kinds of things. I got mixed emotions about that. But now, as it pertains to the game, should we win? Yes. Okay. So I'm looking forward to homecoming like everybody else does, right? And up there at the RV, doing football season, we got what we call RV strike zone. So everybody know doing homecoming now, you got to find your way up there to the strike zone. So we go from not the ONG strike zone, we got the Rattler RV strike zone. So
I was up there last year, man. It was
Yeah.
an amazing sight. I just ate. I didn't even drink.
Well, see the food alone now. Look, oxtails, bro. When you have oxtails at your tailgate, that you can't help but come up there and say, "I want the oxtails," if nothing else, right? And those oxtails were on fire, man. And I've gotten calls already talking about every president that has been at FAMU has made their way to the RV. Okay, so people are saying, how about this year? Well, the president make her way up there. We got to invite the president, and so I'm looking for a better day, Keith. And if she comes up there, she's welcome. Okay, I can't tell the president that she ain't welcome. She can tell us the RVs we're not welcome on the campus.
And I love that, honestly. Like, I get the angst. I've shared it myself, like with the process and everything else. But at the end of the day, she's here. I got to deal with her. And me rooting for her failure, in my personal opinion, is rooting for the failure of FAMU. And I always want Mother FAMU to win.
And I love how you said that, man. If you root for her failure, it's rooting for the failure of FAMU. And that ain't what we're about, right? And so I want her to be successful, because if she's successful, FAMU is successful. And I hope that Rattlers have a change of heart to realize that she is here. And for Mother FAMU is far greater than any one individual. And I always keep the students at the focal point, right? And again, as my parents always tell me, because, hey, man, and I know, and every Rattler on this podcast night are observing, are watching, we have all been mad with FAMU. I have left and divorced FAMU 100,000 times. That's with 4 kids graduating from them. My whole family has graduated from FAMU. And every time I get upset, my mom has a way of bringing me back to reality, right? And I'm blessed that my mom and dad are still living. And she said, whenever I get mad, I call her and say, Mom, I just can't do FAMU no more. She said, well, which one of them kids pissed you off? Well, it ain't the kids. She said, wow. She said, so she has a way, parents have a way of bringing you back down to earth. So my parents' philosophy, my mom always in the conversation, she said, your father and my faith is in God. It's not in the preacher. Preacher's going to come and go, but our faith remains the same. She said, so, what y'all do for those kids at Florida University, continue to keep them at the forefront. So it doesn't matter who comes and goes, no AD, no head coach, right? No president. The kids at Florida University need alumni support to those scholarships and those programs that allow those kids like you and I to be successful. So when she says that, I do not lose focus of who we're supporting. We're supporting the kids who attend FAMU. When we talk about excellence with caring, the excellence are the kids. Now, I do question the caring sometimes of the staff and the individuals that at FAMU, right? So, hey, look, I'm just gonna be honest with you, man. We don't make it easy, right? Let's sit here and just tell the truth. The $237 million blunder, you was upset and so was I.
Open the door,
bro. We saw that, right? And I'm gonna just saying, I'm right now on live. What happened with the AD? Whatever happened, what she did when she was in the other job, hurt us. Okay, it is what it is, man. And these are hard conversations. So other people outside look at this and they say, what in the hell is going on at Florida University? So we can't hide that. Rattlers the city, you and I talk amongst each other, man, we all messed up. Financial aid all screwed up. You don't think everybody else know that? So we as a family want to keep it quiet like the world don't know. Come on, man. Who we fooling? $237 million blunder. Oh, we didn't lose anything. Well, we lost about $14,000 because we housed the guy. We didn't do a 5-minute search online and realize that this guy ain't got that. You didn't realize that other universities shied away from him. So to the world, what do we look like? Okay, so everybody's mad because in the fourth quarter with 2 minutes left, they bring in Miss Johnson to be the president, right? If we was wanting Dr. Palm, why didn't we push and politic for Dr. Palm when the $237 million blunder happened? Because we knew Dr. Robinson was going to have to step down. Mm-hmm. Where were we saying we want this next person as the president? Because that's when it should have started.
I agree.
When we, in the fourth quarter with 2 minutes left, and let's just be, like you said, I'm mad at the process, right? Keith, you cannot tell me we didn't have current presidents of other universities, a former president who wanted the job of a university that has been the top HBCU for 6 years, broke into the top 181, number 20, okay, in social mobility, and just hit the Forbes list at number 1. We didn't have any presidents vying for this job. They were not
all this instability.
They were not.
That's the crazy part.
Come on, man.
Like FAMU is, we love FAMU. If you prick me, I bleed red, but there's a shade of orange in there too.
Right.
You consider how things ebb and flow at FAMU, and you're continuously number one for this, number one for that, number one for this, and the third. And even when Beard comes in, we had questions. I'll say it. I questioned, and he came in, and his 1 year there, he delivered something and like, hey, I wasn't raising money like Larry, but you know what? This new program that we, y'all said y'all wanted online programs to get better. I delivered number one. And then, honestly, between me, you, and the gatepost, I believe when it was all said and done, he wanted the job. He just couldn't do it because he signed that contract.
Without a doubt, you don't come in to make a difference and then you say you don't want the job. I'm just pinch hitting. I'm gonna do these things, but I don't want the job ultimately, right? And so there's a part of him that I know that says I can make a difference. Because let's just be honest. As an interim, when you're only there for a year, you can't influence much. You have to say, I'm gonna take this one thing and move the needle. You can't have a 5-year plan when you're only there for a year. And let's just be realistic. You're only there about 10 months. because the transition has to start, right? And so, but he did the best that he could on his watch. He steadied the ship. The ship didn't sink. It still sailed, right? And so, I think a part of him wanted this, because how could you not, right? When you got all those accolades that we're speaking of. Now, if you don't mind, I'm going to shift, because with all the accolades, right, that we receive, FAMU is an easy sell. Now, Keith, I have to say, why isn't Mackenzie Scott throwing money our way? Jeff Bezos' wife, ex-wife. Okay? Now, Rattler's going to get mad, but we had Shaquille O'Neal's son, and Shaquille never showed up at FAMU. LeBron, we wear his gear. LeBron has never stepped on FAMU's campus. So are we missing something? I think the last major donor, I'm not talking research dollars, was Brother Thompson, who was over Microsoft when Mangum was here. He gave a $5 million, right? He gave $5 million. I haven't seen any dollars like that. So we're spewing these type of accolades. Bruh, where's the philanthropist? Okay, saying, hey, even Bloomberg I think he gave out $600 million to various HBCUs, and we ain't in that conversation. So tell me now, am I missing something? Because Shaquille's son now is out there in California, and Shaquille got a job now with Bibby, who's now the head coach, right? And so, come on, man. So I'm saying, folks, we're missing something, right? That I personally don't understand what we're missing here. Because when you got those kind of awards and accolades, they should be knocking our door down, right?
Especially with Shaq. His sister, I mean, his late sister, she was a FAMU alum. Like, we're talking about, it wasn't just I'm going to FAMU. It's like, no, you have relatives that went to FAMU. Like, at one point, what was it? Bill Cosby had one of his brothers went to FAMU. Like, so you're talking about a university where we can not just claim, alumni and claim that we've done successful things, but you are missing that, that missing piece. I know you just heard with that, that young brother who's doing whatever he's trying to do at Red Lobster. He's like, I'm trying to part with some HBCUs. As many crab balls as Black people throw, especially in the South, man, you can't get a deal with Red Lobster.
Come on now. And I'm sitting there saying, that's because we're not forward thinking, right? In order to be successful, you got to be forward thinking. Just imagine that. So if you ain't at the cutting edge of these things, right? And you're saying that, hey, if I don't change with time, then we will get left behind. Because your reputation precedes you, but your reputation alone just ain't gonna do it. You got to give people the reason why. And I'm telling you, your 2-minute elevator speech, bro, I just laid it out for you. Top HBCU 6 years going, right? 81 of all universities, 20 in mobility, and now we at the top HBCU on the 4th list. So who wouldn't want to be a part of that, right? Same thing with our winning golf team. Who wouldn't want to be a part of it? Everybody wants to be a part of a winner.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the easiest sale. That tells me that the university branding is off. Okay? Think about it. March 100. We out here always asking for money for scholarships. Well, just about everybody who went to FAMU was in the band. If a former band member can't give $100 a year, okay, to support this band that we pride ourselves on, come on, man. I know there have been over 10,000 people that's been in the band. That's the easy 10,000 times $100 a year. I ain't say a month. Just do the math.
That's $1 million right there, ain't it?
The band should want for nothing. If every former band member who knows the struggles say, I'm willing to give $100 a year, I didn't say a month, a year. That's less than $10 a month. Okay? Now they blow that at homecoming. They spend $1,000 at homecoming, and the band didn't get none of that money. I'm just saying, right?
You got a point.
Barry Street got all of it. You know, the railroad over there, the day party's got all of it, the moon, even top flight. Top flight.
I
Okay.
still haven't been. That's on the game before homecoming. We'll see. I might step in there to just check it out.
Yeah. So like I said, Keith, you know, if we truly believe, you know, as we say, even a little bit, man, and I'm gonna get back to what we've accomplished with the canopies. You know, we've had donations as small as $25. And they are my heroes and sheroes because they gave from their heart. So when I tell folks those little givings, they are my heroes and sheroes because it matters. Because that's what's getting us to the $50,000 mark. Okay, it's the $25 donations, man, that have made the greatest difference in this campaign. So I'm so proud of each and every one of the donors. And I'm telling you, I think right now we had about 86 donors. And as crazy as this sound, I was really trying to not only just raise $50,000, but if we can get 100 donors to be a part of that play, it's great, right? And so that's why I was saying, man, that look. But as I said, thank you for giving us this platform tonight to tell people, you know, there's still an opportunity to give. We doing this all the way. They got all to midnight on the 30th. To donate and support us, to take us over the top. And I just feel in my heart, Keith, by you allowing us to be on tonight, that this platform is going to take us over the mark, man.
I appreciate it. I think it's, you know, it's a weight that's been carried by a lot of folks, but especially you and your crew, Rattlers in Arms. Could you just kind of tell us quickly about it, Rattlers in Arms? You know, the names. Obviously, you know, for me, I'm like, oh yeah, Rattlers in Arms. You know, they was in the military. You know, that's just me thinking. But could you just tell us, you know, about it?
Tell you something, it's funny because it started out like that, right? And I don't know if you're aware that a couple of years ago we did $100,000 endowment around the Eternal Flame. And typically, it has always been me, Dr. Pickett, and Keith Stubbs. And we went out on a limb. I said, "Hey, man, would you guys be willing to get 33 and a third?" Now, I want you to think about how you can ask somebody, say, "Would you be willing to give $33,000?" So a lot of times, I'm considered crazy. It's like, you want me to give what?
Right.
I said, well, and then when I did something crazy than that, I said, let me call the foundation and ask them how many names can fit on that plaque, right? So they said, well, we can get about 5. I said, all right, well, we'll ask 10 people to give $20,000. I mean, I'm sorry. You know, well, we're going to canvas 10 to give, you know, we only need 2. We got 3. That'll lessen our load. So we won't have to give 33. We'll just have to only give 20.
Right.
Well, I canvassed 10 and got 2. So I said, look, I'm asking you for $20,000 to make an investment, okay, that will give in perpetuity. Now, imagine calling somebody and saying, hey, would you be willing to give $20,000, right? But I'm saying, look, you got 5 years to give it now. So that softened the blow a little bit. But it's like, you asking me for what, Rick?
Right.
I mean, $1,000, right? And so, and then I got mad, Keith, because I realized we could have put another name on there. So I
Oh,
said, I would have lessened our load to 16, right? And so it was in that spirit that the Rattlers in Arms came about. And yes, it was targeting military guys because we were all in ROTC together. But let me tell you about how we were forward thinking. It ain't just about military. It's Rattlers coming together, arm in arm, to support the cause of the university, right? We're not part of the National Alumni Association. So imagine that. We don't want to be under that umbrella. We want to be able to do the things that we need to do for the students who attend Florida University and to support any efforts. And you will see the efforts that we're supporting. All right. So therein lies why we became a 501c3. Just this year, we were supposed to do this 3 years ago. I finally got off my behind and said, all right, yeah, we need to do this. And because we're doing a lot of good things, right? So imagine that by having the foresight, strategically looking out in the future, it wasn't it was started as military because I knew that we had a lot of retirees. They would get some of this money called VA checks, you know, and they ain't being taxed on. We want to ask them for $1,000 a year. You know? So then it became, other people started calling and say, hey, we would like to be a part of that. Therein lies having the forward looking to say, nah, we're just not military. We're anybody who understands that we want to walk arm in arms and support Mother FAMU. So imagine that. And you get a tax write-off. And you see exactly what we're doing. Okay, so these programs, you will see that no, your money ain't just going anywhere. It's restricted. And when we say it's going to this, it's going to support and produce that. So that was the forward thinking. So imagine now, so when you typically see Rattlers and Army Plant City chapter, right? That's part of the National Alumni Association. Well, that's because we were part of the Plant City chapter. So Dr. Pickett, for the second time, is the president. And so that's why it's closely tied, because the Plant City chapter supports the golf team also heavily. They make some nice contributions to the golf team, right? Kind of goes hand in hand, if you will. So now you let that, you tell Pat Gray that now, hint, hint, hint. That major golf tournament he having, it won't hurt if he throw a lot. And believe it or not, Pat knows this, and I think you've seen the website. One of the things you see too that we do a very good job of is thanking our donors online. So when you see those names, and you have seen Brother Pat Gray's name on there, that he has made his donation and support. So that's why I say, hey man, we had a bigger vision, which was everybody can become a part of Rattlers and Arms. It's just not military. What started out as, but we knew that what we were looking for is those rattlers who want to be a part of something that supports what they see, right? I mean, think about Be Out Day. Fam, you have to be smart on that. They're not gonna want to be part of the National Alumni Association, and it's okay if they don't, but they're serving a purpose. So we got to look at different ways, if you want to call them auxiliary groups, but I don't want them to necessarily be a part of the National Alumni Association to be effective. It's no different than classes. When classes come together at homecoming to raise $200,000, that's a plus. You don't have to be a part of the National Alumni Association to do that. First of all, we all alums, right? So your dollar spent just like mine. So what I would tell you, man, consider us. We're not a DSO because there are only 3. Most people don't know that. You only got the foundation is 1, the National Alumni Association, and the boosters. The 220 quarterback club is not a DSO. The F club is not a DSO. So people need to understand, right? The Diamondbacks are not. That's a pharmacy organization. They're not DSOs, man, but they are doing some great work in support of our institution. So it makes it valid when you're a 501c3, because people can get the tax write-off for that, and that in fact does matter. So thank you for allowing us to see that, and to tell everybody that what we are about, and as you can clearly see, the name on the endowment, the name affiliated with supporting golf. And let me just say this to you, it ain't just golf. We have supported the football team. We have purchased green jackets. We were part of when they did the renovation for the field house, and we raised $30,000 just on that effort. Okay, and here at our local high schools, individuals provide personal scholarships. So this comes out of our own personal dollars to students from the local high schools who wants to go to Florida University. That's in addition to supporting the Plant City chapter's fundraising efforts for scholarships. So as you can clearly see, it is truly about the kids who wants to go to FAMU. And so if you're about that, if you will, you want to brag differently, we want you on this team, and because you're not restricted. We do have meetings, we do things in with Robert Rules of Order, but we want you to see where your dollar go. And so I can't wait to have those 2 canopies erected. We had that ribbon cutting ceremony, because let me tell you, Keith, you're going to be proud to say that I was a part of that.
Oh, look out. Even on the last one, look, and I love that. Notice, and you can text 41444 FAMU Golf, but he's talking about the canopy. He ain't talked about very much. He's, Rick has kind of passed by the things they've already done. Golf team he talked about the simulator, but he ain't going into great detail about it. He's also talked about the putting green. He didn't go in great detail about it. And I love that, the fact that as you're forward thinking, you do remind that, hey, we've delivered these things but this is what we're going to deliver. And what's the timeline on this delivery though? I mean, and we're also, this might not be very long.
Let me tell you how forward thinking we are, right? We already got the invoice, and we will get ready to make the purchase this week because we were forward thinking, right? And so it will be purchased next week. All right. I should say the 2 canopies will be purchased next week. The goal is to, by the end of July, is to install it. We were shooting for a ribbon cutting ceremony as well to happen before graduation, which I think is on the 1st of August. So we, as they say, there will probably be a soft opening, which is a picture of the canopies to show that it's going up and whatnot. But there will definitely be a ribbon cutting ceremony, and so when it is purchased, we may even make an announcement that they have been purchased. That the design and logos have already been submitted. So we again forward thinking now, right? So it won't be 6 months from now. Okay, it's about a 2 to 3 week process on producing it and building it, and then installation too, because the install is part of the purchase. So we got 2 options. One is if we can't get it done, the ribbon cutting ceremony before 1 August, we might be looking at the first home football game, but you will see, okay, and we will have photos of the install, as I call it, the softball, because I want Rattlers to see, right, what is going on. No differently than with the ROTC program. We finally getting Howard Hall renovated since 1946, right? We get rid of the window air conditioning units, right?
As long as they don't get rid of my favorite painting, I'm good.
No, man, we won't do that, but we got to get rid of the air conditioning units, man. It makes no sense to have window air conditioning units, on the campus. So what you will see within the next month, and that's pretty fast. That's faster than getting the championship rings, man. So when you purchase the championship rings, right, it's a process to that. And people don't understand. They got to design it. Then they got to, do what they do in terms of, and then you got to pay for it. Then that takes 6 weeks. So it could be 2 to 3 months before somebody see a ring. That ain't what's going to happen here. So, we're forward thinking. We do understand the importance of getting something done in a timely manner, right? And that's what we're trying to do. So I think that if the purchase go down this weekend, and I think it is because we did receive the invoice on Friday, you know what the procurement process is. Okay.
Invoice.
There you go. So, so the funds are there to pay for it. It's just we gonna be prodding the university staff to get it purchased, and so that way we hope to, because July is a busy month, production month from them, and the product is coming out of Canada, and it just happened, right? The president. So we were trying to get ahead of that, but I think we still will be where we need to be. So you can rest assured that within 45 days, you will see the tents go up, and then between 45 to 60 days, a ribbon cutting ceremony. Okay. And that's pretty good, man.
That's better than good. Look, in dealing and working with direct service organizations and having worked for Florida A&M and Florida State University, right, that is better than good.
Right. Right. So I want to say you can bet my RV on that, but I'm not going to sell the farm on that one.
Well, Mr. Kids, any party words before I get you out? He already got him, but my parents raised you right, so he's probably like a few years older than me. So I got to say, Mr. Just to make sure I don't get hit in the back of the head.
Hey, Keith, look, I just want to say thank you so very much for giving me this opportunity. And I want to thank all those who have supported us in our endeavors, but more importantly, the golf team and Coach Rice. They really, really appreciate everybody's support thus far. And like you said, Keith, they can just, text 41444 FAMU Golf, and your support is going for a great cause. And let's just show our championship golf team that we stand behind them, we believe in them, and this is an easy ask. No matter how tough the times are, Rattlers, no matter what we're facing right now, and as you all like to say, when the dark clouds gather, right? And what I would like to say is this, we're going to support our student athletes and just really our students, right? It ain't just about their students before their athletes. And when they have worked their butts off, not only on the golf course, but in the classroom, an APR of 1,000 now. That's the highest you can get. And what else do they need to do to show that they need our support? These ain't NIL deals, okay? This is for the greater good. And not only will the golf team benefit from it, but our students can go over there because it's part of the intramural field and they have access to it. So look what we're supporting in the end, the greater good. And
It
not
could be a,
only, but
could be a little fundraiser going forward, a little top golf type vibe.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
You see how you're thinking? See what you just offered up?
But
The regular football games, there's an opportunity.
There you go.
You can put some wages on. They got 100 meters. 100 yards. Popping a shot in 100 yards might get you something, right? Raffle off a nice golf club if you get it in that hole, right? And so see how you're thinking, Keith. So we got to get you back at FAMU as a fundraiser because your ideas, man, are just truly amazing. So I leave you with that. And again, I say thank you again. And we really, really appreciate those that have donated thus far. And again, if it wasn't, man, I thank you. I thank the ONG Strike Zone. I thank the 220. I even thank the boosters because every one of those support organizations gave us a plug in. And without, this is not about us. This is about Rattlers, family, and friends who understand that what we're doing here is for the good of our university, our students, and for the love of FAMU. So again, Keith, thank you so very much, man, for allowing me this opportunity.
Likewise, man. Thank you for coming on. Look, and I will definitely mention to my president, very proud of my president that, hey, I think we should, at least, have one of the, holes at the golf tournament, have some of those funds get diverted towards the golf team.
Yeah, please let him know you suggested that, not me.
I suggest, look, I'll stand on it. Okay. I appreciate it, Mr. Kinsey.
Okay, thank you so very much. You have a great evening.
You do the same.
Take care now.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Oh, man. Look, and I'm going to hold y'all for a little bit because, look, while I got you, look, we did have a couple things go on, so I know this is longer than normal, but FAMU Baseball did a good commitment. Clark Lincoln, here from Georgia. So big time commitment. Also, basketball got an offer that went out. Malia Meeks. Okay, she's a guard. She's like, 6'2". Yeah, so she plays all the positions. She's 6'2", plays guard, forward, and center, which honestly, when you're that tall at FAMU, you're probably playing forward or center. Like, just gonna be honest with y'all. But we'll see. She's from Montgomery, Alabama. So that's going to be interesting. Like us. And then y'all heard Ms. Kinsey talk about Charlie Ward. He did get an offer, a couple offers out there that he went. One is Carson Crawford, 6'6", small forward from Fleming Island. That's Orange Park, Florida. I believe that's over there by Jacksonville. Could be wrong. Other one, Julian Desir, another 6'6" forward. He's from New York. So I ain't going to lie. I gotta ask not Cozy, Charlie Ward some questions. Like, we're gonna definitely invite him on. What's up, EA? Because I gotta see about it. He's got some connections in New York. Now on the football side, we had a couple offers went out. Keyshawn Burks. This kid plays receiver. Let me see. Yeah, there we go. 6'1", St. Pete Catholic. So he transferred from, I think he's from Tarpon Springs is what it says, though. But he's just transferred out of there. So this one, Kobe Conway, it says that Nova Southeastern, but he played at Hope, Alabama. We'll see, is he going to be like a modern, like somebody we take in this cycle or next recruiting cycle? And this one, shout out to the photography. But Izard. I'm not gonna butcher that child's last name today. I'm not. I'm just not. What's up, Marvin? And look, I definitely appreciate Rick coming on. Now, for the game that I purposely asked him about, homecoming. So, FAMU's homecoming. That's gonna be an interesting game. Like, again, we ain't gonna keep y'all overly too long, but I'll take y'all behind the curtain. One of the things I like to do, I'm a stats person. So normally when I'm looking at the games, I pull up the stats. Like I like to argue with data. And last year, Alcorn wasn't terrible, but they also weren't like the greatest team since sliced bread. So you kind of look here and we'll pull up the schedule so y'all can see their record from last year. Obviously, they've updated their website. Good on them. Everybody needs to do that. 6-6. So 6-6. As Coles would say, that is not the standard. So I like to come over here to their standards, to their statistics, and kind of look over. I look at all that stuff, but then I really normally go game by game. And I start looking at kind of comparables. UAB, nope. Vandy, nope. And realize y'all can't see that as well as others. Now you hopefully can see it. Mississippi Valley State, they dropped 42 on them. Okay, okay. Grambling, Southern, you can see for the most part, they kind of struggle to score. Like, and they'll be undefeated heading to the game. Okay, who they got before they got FAMU? You know me, I like to stand on data. I ask questions. Let's see. I think going into that game, it's going to be interesting. It's acting funny. There we go. Sorry. Their schedule's weak for the first part. Let's see. Okay, Northwestern State. That's a possible. Ooh, okay. They're not going to be undefeated because they got to go to Stark Vegas. So, for those who, again, y'all know Keith stands on data. Sorry, this ain't the most exciting part of it, but they do start with Northwestern State. That's an away game. We'll see. That's not a school I value a lot. They're up and down. Alabama A&M, I don't know. That's a toss-up. Like, look here. If we don't go undefeated at home, this program is not heading into the right direction, point blank. I don't know, man. I done told you that NCCU game. I got NCCU. UAPB, yeah. They won't be undefeated when they come to play FAM. I see at least a good 2 losses for them. Like, if I was a gambling person, which I'm not, Valley is gonna be a dub, but Mississippi State and PV, I don't know. Look, I told y'all, I think PV quietly might have the best coaching swag, and I'll stand on that. I know that may not rub everybody the right way, but I don't see that. I think this game, just kind of looking, unless they make some drastic changes from what we've seen from Alcorn, it's a race to 30. Honestly, it's a race to 28. Like, their offense isn't super prolific. What we have seen is they have a tendency to like hit some deep balls and hit some pop shots. And so can the secondary kind of slow them down is a question? But I'll be honest, just kind of watching them and seeing them from last year, they ain't the best. Like, not saying FAMU is the best either, because obviously we lost to Valley. And they beat Valley. So, you kind of look at that common opponent there. But overall, if FAMU's offense is doing anything worth a darn, it should be a kind of close game, but against a team that struggles to score. Traditionally, you'll kind of see that Alcorn is normally kind of balanced, but they tend to kind of hit you on a pop shot with a couple deep balls, tend to have some receivers with a little bit of height. So we're going to see. The big thing and the problem with kind of looking at some of our counterparts in SWAC, recruiting-wise, what do you know about them? And that's where I think the Jimmies and the Joes matter. Like, we heard Rick kind of mention, like, FAMU one loss at the most for him. I feel that. But just saying, And by the way, they are bringing their band. I want to see that. I ain't gonna lie. Like, I do. If they bring the band for FAMU's homecoming, that's an extra 3 points for them. I think FAMU wins this one though. I think it's okay. Don't plan on going straight from the game to the club if you come. This is gonna be one of those. If you partying, do a day party or something before the game, because like kickoff is 3:00. See if you get your little morning get together, get a little morning brunch, shut it down about 1:00. Make your way to the stadium and kind of have some good times there. But if you plan to walk straight from the stadium and plan to watch the whole game, I don't think it's gonna be a comfortable dub. I do think it's a dub though. I got FAMU 31-20. I think this is gonna come down to one. You sound like you feel like we're gonna lose 2 games or more at home. Yeah, it's possible. That Jackson is a toss-up to me, if I'm answering your question, EA. So EA's question was, I sound like we're going to lose 2 at home. I'm not going to say it's not plausible. Again, the North Carolina Central game and Jackson are my 2. Alcorn is my toss-up. I think that you do win, partially because I think offensively, by then Burris has a handle on what his offense is. I think what we've seen in the first 2 games from Burris last season was that he wasn't quite sure what he wanted out of the offense or what he wanted to be when you're talking about putting his vision and Colsey's vision together. Because Colsey's vision, we know, run the ball. Like, Colsey is going back to what I figured his offense was going to be when he came in last year. And I was like, hey, are you going to be a stereotypical defensive coach that, kind of runs the ball a lot? I saw your offense in Canada. It wasn't that, but it was also in Canada. So it's a different kind of football, and it wasn't that good anyway. So I didn't say it wasn't that good anyway. But to answer your question, yeah. I could easily see this team losing 2 games. Would I be disappointed? Yes. Would I say the season's an abject disaster because of that? No. But I think against Alcorn, yeah. I think travel matters. Travel is a big thing because that's not a flight. Like, if they're flying, they still got to drive like 2 hours to get to the airport. Like, the closest major airport that could get them to Tallahassee is probably an hour or 2 away. Otherwise, you're talking a 6 to 8 hour bus ride. That's a lot. That's a lot, especially when you come into that environment. Bragg's going to be crazy, and it's going to be crazy for all the right and wrong reasons. With 31 seniors, yeah. Look, you know me, yeah. I'll tell you the truth for a lot of you. I tell you like I tell my kids. I tell my students all the time, and this is the truth about Keith. If I'm lying to you, I don't respect you enough to tell you the truth. And that's a lot of me. I respect you enough to tell you the truth. I can see 2 losses this season. 3, I'm hot. Like, I ain't gonna hold you. 3 home losses, I'm hot. I could easily see this being a 3-loss season total, though. I got questions about Jackson, though. Like, because they've added a lot. FAMU's added a lot. I don't think Alcorn's added as much as FAMU has. And that's why I think FAMU is pulling away late in this game. I think at half, you are hearing them whoop, 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 whoop. You're going to hear a lot of that from their band and their fans. I think it's going to be a packed house. But I think, and I love that Rick came in and was like, this is the person we got. We got to rock with this lady at president. That's going to be a culture shock. When they come in there and hopefully just play a video of Humphreys, but if they get Marv up there, it's going to be so many new people who hadn't been on campus since the last homecoming that are like, I'm booing her as soon as I see her. That's going to be a shock. Like, that's going to be immediately the second those folks jump in and boo. They're going to be like, what's wrong with them? And they'll be like, they booing them? Oh, man. And they're like, nah, they booing that lady. Like, that's going to be a distraction then the vibe itself is going to be a distraction. I just think the fact that it's FAMU's homecoming plus all the hostility in the air, if FAMU players can remain focused, is an advantage. Like that's just me. And I see EA's got a question. Man, 80%, you don't stop lying. You know y'all ain't added nothing over there. Did that running back stay? Oh, if that running back stayed, y'all got a fighting chance, but y'all added a quarterback, couple guys, but yeah, like you can't win with 31 seniors. What changes with the younger team? Schematics. I think last year, despite the seniors, and I think you admit this. Oh, he went to Troy. Gotcha. That's a solid move. Like, probably got a little more, NIL money, but that's a solid move. I don't hate it, but I don't love it either. I don't value Troy State like that though. Anyways, Troy University. But I think it was schematics last year. Like, are we all kind of saying that? Like, it was you lost 3 of your major starters on defense, but you also had an offensive philosophy that we're all saying was flawed, right? Like, you have players like Jeremiah Pruitt who were underutilized. Like, a person who starts the year as an All-American and finishes the year as barely sometimes getting targeted. And when he did get the ball thrown to him, he reduced. Like, so I think that's got a part to play in it. Your tight end room is going to be very different because you did lose 2 out of your 3. 1 transfers, 1 is just attrition. So that's going to be interesting. But I think regardless of the number of seniors, I think the X's and O's are going to be better this year. I do want to see what Colsey does as the defensive coordinator. That's going to be really big. And I think it's going to be an interesting question you're going to get in about 17 days, 18 days. So, yeah, what was it? Yeah, 17 days. When they go to SWAC Media Day, what is it going to be like being the head coach and the defensive coordinator at this level? I mean, he can talk to what he's done previous stops, especially in Canada. But in the SWAC, I think the X's and the O's are that much better. And I honestly think the Jimmies and the Joes are better. I think this year's team, excluding the quarterback position, and one of your DBs is comparable. I don't want to say better yet. I got to see better because then y'all going to be in the parking lot. You said they were going to be better than last year. And I'm be like, I mean, it was early in the season. I don't want to lie. I think it's going to be compared, though. Like, I think if you're comparing team for team quarterback, last year's team's got that. I think if you're looking running back wise, this year's team's better. When we're talking about who your starting running back is today versus us saying you had a 3-headed monster last year, which never really materialized into a monster, really until the Florida Classic. I think this is fair to say you probably got better at running back. I'll say that. Receiver-wise, I think it's pretty even. Like, even though you did lose Quan Lee, we'll see. Tight end room, I think, is not as good. Offensive line is better, my personal opinion. I think defensive line is a hell of a lot better. I think secondary is worse, but I think the linebackers are better. So, quarterback and secondary and tight end, you're going to have some drop-offs. But the way you used your tight ends last year, still a question mark for the OL and D-line. Still not happy with our size. You're not wrong yet. I don't love it, but I'll say this. When I look at our defensive ends this year, I wish Anthony Dunn had stayed. I'll say that. I don't think Auburn is the right school. I'll say that out loud. And that's not wishing ill on the kid or the guy, but that's saying I haven't seen very often where that's going to profit the way that it may seem. I think NIL-wise, it's a profit. But I think in the grand scheme of things, another year at FAMU and kind of having a good year. I think you mean, Ash. Ash. Yeah, I meant Ash. I'm sorry. I meant James Ash. Sorry. Thank you for correcting me. But I don't think Ash going to Auburn was a big get for him. But I do think FAMU wise, I think it does open the door for Westmoreland to kind of step up. I think him and Dunn would have been a nice pairing. But I ain't gonna lie, when I'm seeing from that boy Donald, I'm impressed with the film. I can't go past that. But he looks a lot like my boy Savion did. Like, that's where I'm at. I think that's why I said Auburn wasn't a good fit. I think a better fit would have been, hell, I think Florida State, he would have got more burned, being honest with you. Like, I know that's kind of like, might be a little fan-sided, but I think FSU would have been a better move than going to Auburn. That's just my personal opinion, though. Like, I think sometimes we look at those letters, SEC, and we don't realize that if you don't dominate at that level, you just played in the SEC. Like, you can wear it as a badge. But, I worked with a guy that played in the SEC last year, and yeah, he had good football skill set, but at the same point, it didn't turn into the NFL for him. So that's just me and that. So for this one, I think FAMU wins homecoming. I think it's 31-20. I think fourth quarter, the fans get to go home and enjoy the fruits of whatever they have going on. And hopefully everybody act like they got some sense. That's all I need from that. But I think when you're talking about the things that favor FAMU for Alcorn, it is the travel. It's going to be a very weird atmosphere. Like, it's not going to be your normal jubilant homecoming. It's going to be a bit off. This is going to be the one game. If you want to see a circus, this is the one to be at. This is going to be a circus. I don't. And it's not because of the locals. It's always because of the people who aren't locals. The people who haven't come to any game but this one, I think show the butt. And I think it's going to be one of those things where it's like, hey, man, chill out. Enjoy Joe Bullard while you got him. Enjoy the 100. It is what it is. Let's try to do some great things for FAMU. All right, y'all. So we held y'all long, but as y'all saw, man, we had a great time with Rick. Thank him for coming out. Don't forget 41444 FAMU Golf. If you want to support the cause, man, I'm just saying. Oh, I expect a lot of extra security all season long. Like, until I'll be honest, Edwin. And there's a reason they kept throwing John Thrasher in our face. Now, the difference is John Thrasher was an FSU alum. He's dead now. It's also a difference with the lady at USF. She's also a USF alum. Barbara's not a FAMU alum. And that's not a bonus or a plus as being a feather in the cap. But y'all already know how we are. Like, if we don't like you, we don't like you. Like, and it takes a lot for some of us to get over that. So, me personally, it is what it is. Me being hateful ain't gonna fix it and ain't gonna change nothing. So, that don't mean I'm gonna be spending all my money on stuff, but we'll be there to support the kids. That's what we're here for. But I do think there will be extra security around campus. I wouldn't be surprised if you see security that you're not used to seeing on campus. I wouldn't be surprised you see state security there just because Ron DeSantis is governor and he's got to look strong. And that's however you want to take that. But, not to become overly political, but you see the moves. You also saw the moves this week or last week now. So all of a sudden, new accreditation, you have all these people at these schools, and it's very interesting to see that much of the South is going that way. I'll leave it there, though. The venom flows on who Rattlers don't like. Man, you already know. Woo. I wish her well. I do. I also suggest get you a video of Fred Humphreys and keep it pushing. If I was you, I'm going to say it for the people in the front and in the back. Don't get that Rattler charge. I wouldn't give no Rattler charge for no good 2 years. 2 years. Y'all would have Frederick Humphreys videos playing, and y'all can feel good and do all of this and yay. And I wouldn't even sit in the president's box. I find me a spot, enjoy the game, go home. And when they ask were you at the game, I'm like, oh yeah, I was there. I was supporting. I wouldn't be out there on the 50-yard line. You can't force people to accept you. No matter how much some may want it to happen, you can't force it. So I can wish you well, but watch the movie Drumline. I'll say it like this. I think the best example of why I expect a lot of us to do during this whatever phase this is and time frame, I believe if you watch the fight scene in Drumline and you see Nick Cannon's character dap the man up, say, man, I appreciate you fighting with me. And that dude said, fool, wasn't nobody fighting for you. I was fighting for A&T. I think that's a lot of us. Like, you go out there you want to. You can get booed. We're going to still do good for FAMU. But they're not doing good for you. They're doing good for A&M. Just kind of what it is, man. You're fired. Go home. Go home, man. Talk. You know we'll. I ain't gonna hold you. I'm not looking forward to the classic halftime show. Look, I'm just saying, there's a reason petty people like me aren't band directors. Cause boy, y'all, oh man, it would be a lot of smoke going around. It would be a lot of jokes. Some of them might even be in somewhat like almost poor taste. But oh yeah, after halftime, the jokes would be flowing and they write themselves. Oh man, I'd have somebody with a wig, all kind of stuff. Y'all hate me. Y'all be like, man, that joke is just evil. And I'd be like, but I won halftime. I don't want to see halftime this year. I think we're gonna sound better than y'all, but I would not be surprised to see the marching Wildcats put on a bunch of red hats and start marching like the 100 just to be funny. Look, I told y'all I could give jokes, but I could also receive jokes. Like, it really don't hurt my feelings too bad. I'm not a prankster, but when it comes to like telling jokes, hey, if you could dish it, you could take it. Oh my goodness. All right, y'all, good people. Let's get up out of here so y'all get to work in the morning. I'm going to sleep. We are still in summer break for another month, and I got a run to make. So, all right, y'all, for everybody here at HBCU Digital Network, thank you, Rick Kinsey, for coming on. We're going to invite some more guests coming on. We're working on some things. Y'all already know what's up. What's always going to be. Fangs Up.
Yeah, baby, you know what time it is. Now let's get it started. Are you kidding me? Unreal.
While our HBCUs are mostly known for academic rigor, community, they also know how to turn up.
Does he have it?